Welcome to Film Detour, a podcast where two longtime film buddies take you down and around the back alleys and side streets of cinema.
With the occasional left-hand turn.
I'm John Napick.
And I'm Bob Mueller. So let's go. John, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's hit it.
Okay, 8 Million Ways to Die.
1986, directed by Hal Ashby, one of my favorite all-time directors.
The great Hal Ashby.
Yeah, great is a perfect word for him.
So he was an editor. He did start out as an editor. He edited the Thomas Crown Affair.
Thomas Crown Affair, the Cincinnati Kid.
The Russians Are Coming.
Yeah.
He was Norman Jewison's editor, basically.
Because he also did In the Heat of the Night, which is also Norman Jewison's.
Right. And I just have to say, like, the Thomas Crown Affair, the use of split screens and time montages, like things go back in time, very innovative. That's like the 60s, 67, I think. He was an amazing editor.
But that really is how he got his perspective. He really got a sense of how do you put a movie together, which is similar to Robert Wise.
Right.
Wise was a film editor, most famously, I guess, for Citizen Kane.
Exactly.
And then Wise went on to make some amazing movies, and he understood how to connect the dots, put this stuff all together.
So Hal Ashby's first film was 1970.
The Landlord.
With Beau Bridges.
Right.
Which I have to, and Lou Gossett Jr. is in it, by the way. It's this rich white kid who is going to buy a slum building in Brooklyn and renovate it. Yeah. But of course, it's got all these black families living in it, and he needs to get them out. He moves into the building. What's funny is it's a slum. It's shot in Park Slope back in 1970.
Our old neighborhood, John, we lived in for a period of time.
But Park Slope is like the richest neighborhood in Brooklyn now, practically. Right. Back in the 70s, it was a slum, I guess. Right. I always thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then next he did Harold and Maude.
Which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It never gets tiresome. It never gets old. And it's got Cat Stevens doing the soundtrack. Yeah. So what the hell else you want? Bud Cort's terrific. Ruth Gordon's hilarious. It can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
It didn't make money.
Seriously.
It became a cult favorite.
Right.
It didn't start making money until 1984. Think about that. It came out. It didn't do well at the box office.
You know why? It's a really weird movie, Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the premise. This young boy is having this affair with this woman who's in her 80s. Who would even come up with an idea like that? But it totally works. And he's the perfect man for the job for that movie. The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson and Randy Quaid, Carol Kane. Another great Ashby. Everything he did was pretty damn good. Shampoo, classic.
I love Shampoo. It's such a great movie about L.A. and Hollywood in the 60s. It's just got such a feeling to it.
Bound for Glory with David Carradine as Woody Guthrie. That's a terrific movie.
Yeah.
I can't say I really value David Carradine as an actor. I don't think he really can act.
Right. Don't tell him that.
Well, he's no longer with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he strangled himself in his closet. So I don't think he's going to hear the show.
Maybe he thought that too, I guess.
He's so good in this. Right. And I think that's a testament to Hal Ashby. And I love the visual style of it. It's just great stuff.
Well, Haskell Wexler won the Oscar.
For cinematography. It's terrific. It's great stuff. Coming Home, which is one of the great anti-war films. Mm-hmm. And music, John. Music. This is where I love Hal Ashby so much because he will take pieces of music and put them, whether they're counterpointing or they're dead on, perfect thing, just like Scorsese. My two favorite people who I think are geniuses with using music and innovators with using popular song or rock and roll, it's Hal Ashby and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. What's interesting about that, Jane Fonda was trying to get that movie going for a long time. Uh-huh. I never realized that's actually loosely based on Ron Kovic's story,
really?
Who's the writer of Born on the 4th of July.
Yes.
But that's based on him.
I didn't know that. She
was friends with him from the anti-war days, and she kept that story going.
Hanoi Jane.
Yeah, Hanoi Jane. Right. And then, of course, the next one, Being There.
With Peter Sellers.
Wow.
And, it's nothing but fun, that movie. That movie's fun, funny, and it's just so good.
And Hal Ashby's one of those guys with kind of ensemble actors. Yeah. And just like in Shampoo, Jack Warden is in that.
Jack Warden's
Being
great.
There. He's amazing.
It's great. And his last feature 8 Million Ways to Die.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't do a tremendous amount of work.
Right.
Boy, oh boy, the work he did.
Yeah.
Man, just a fantastic director. Strange guy. Strange-looking guy. You ever see pictures of him?
Right.
You see this long white beard, almost Santa Claus-like, and crazy hair. And I remember David Carradine in an interview saying, I'd worked, in different movies and different sets and whatnot, and I never saw a director who looked like that before. So he didn't really know what to make of Al Ashby.
So cinematographer was Stephen H. Burum.
Burum, yeah.
And, he's done a bunch of things.
Well, the ones that come to mind for me is he did The Entity with Barbara Hershey, and he did The Outsiders.
And Rumblefish.
Yeah.
And then Something
Wicked This Way Comes, which is an El Stinko movie based on one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah.
I love that Bradbury book. The movie stinks. I don't like it. But visually, it's beautiful.
And then he did a bunch of films for De Palma, interestingly.
Yes, he must have been De Palma's pick.
Like in the middle years, I guess.
Yeah.
Like The Untouchables.
Body Double. Raising Cain.
Amazing movie. That's a classic.
Yeah.
An acting tour de force.
Yeah, I did. Oh, my God. The thing is, De Palma's films look good. They're just not good.
And then let's talk about the screenwriters. So Oliver Stone did the original screenplay of this.
Now, there are two writers on it, John. Do you know any background on that?
So Oliver
as far
Stone,
as David Lee Henry is concerned?
Well, David Lee Henry was a pseudonym, right, for the writer R. Lance Hill.
Right, and he wrote The Evil That Men Do, the novel that the Charles Bronson movie was later made. But he was more of a novelist than a screenwriter. He doesn't have much of a track record as a screenwriter.
I think Oliver Stone did the first adaptation because it's from the novel by Lawrence Block.
Yeah.
And then whatever happened, they brought in R. Lance Hill, who kind of had an in with the producer, Mark Damon, and they kind of rewrote it. Yeah, so the original books, or there's a series. Matt Scudder is a New York City ex-cop.
Right.
He lives in Manhattan on the West Side in the old Hell's Kitchen. He visits all these dive bars and stuff. He hangs out in them. He's an alcoholic, and he that's the character. I don't know how it got translated to Los Angeles. But what's interesting about
this is such a Hollywood element to this movie.
Yes.
And how you would take that from that, but it works.
Yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if Oliver Stone had it as a New York story and it got translated somehow, or he put it in L.A. I don't know. I mean, Oliver Stone's an interesting choice because he wrote Scarface, so he's like the man for the drug trade movies. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I hear Robert Towne did some rewrites.
Robert Towne and also Hal Ashby.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it went through a lot of different rewrites and whatnot, but it all comes together.
It's funny, we like this movie. There's so much trouble around it. They couldn't even get a screenwriter to stick with it. Yeah. There's all these different, but somehow it comes off.
The music is James Newton Howard.
Not a fan of this soundtrack.
I like the soundtrack a lot. I think the theme song's really good. I think some of the other pieces, the love theme, we'll call it, I really like it.
It's all synthesizer. I'll make very 80s.
It's exactly right. It's very 80s.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of 80s music per se, but I do like the soundtrack a lot. I've always liked it.
I always thought it's so unusual for Hal Ashby because Hal Ashby loves original music or say rock music, etc.
Right. Of the time, it was this synthesized one-man band kind of thing.
I will admit one thing. If you give this movie a setting of like the L.A. drug trade
in the 80s,
this is the soundtrack for it.
Well, it certainly
got that feel, yeah.
But James Newton Howard did a lot of different stuff from Twilight Zone, the movie, to Five Corners, which is a terrific movie.
Oh, Five Corners.
He did Guilty by Suspicion with De Niro. He did the soundtrack for Glengarry Glen Ross. He did The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, and he did Batman Begins.
Oh. Look at that.
This synthesized score that he did is very, very much like Jan Hammer for the Miami Vice theme, that sort of thing. Right. And the other guy, Harold Faltermeyer, who did Beverly Hills Cop. This kind of thing at the time. I mean, even Maurice Jarre, who did these beautiful sweeping scores for David Lean, he got into the act too when he did Witness because that's all synthesized. Right. So, at any rate, continuing on to the stars.
So Jeff Bridges, I'll just say this and I'm going to stop you before you even begin.
Yeah.
Because there's so many movies this guy did, and what's amazing about Jeff Bridges is He acted in a lot of movies, but he acted in a lot of great movies. I don't know how this guy selects movies or gets picked, but he seems to be in so many classic films.
It's interesting because he started back in the day with his dad on Sea Hunt.
Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah. Some of my favorites of his are, and they're all of this period, Fisher King, American Heart, and Fearless. They're all done about the same time.
Right.
And they were boom, boom, boom. But his early career, which is completely different, were things like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Oh, one of our favorites, yeah.
And one of your favorites was Cutter's Way.
Cutter's Way, which is an amazing movie with John Hurd.
The thing is, it's so interesting to watch his career build.
Right.
But every time you watch Jeff Bridges, and he only got better as time has gone on.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you watch Jeff Bridges, you want to see what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's just like one of those character actors like Warren Oates, and he has that quality where you want to see, what's this guy going to do next?
What's interesting is he is what you would term a pretty boy, certainly in this movie.
Yes.
But then he'll do The Big Lebowski.
Right.
Which obviously is a cult classic for a lot of people. I mean, if you compare the dude to Matt Scudder in this movie, they're two completely different people.
He played Wild Bill in Walter Hill's production of that, and he's fantastic in it. He's also in a really neat movie. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's a Carol Ballard film. It's called White Squall. And then he goes all the way up to this current period, Iron Man. So he has had a huge career, a wide-ranging career from the 50s up until now.
And I'll just mention this because he won an Oscar as Rooster Cogburn in True Grit.
Yeah.
The Coen Brothers movie. I'll say there's three great actors in this movie that carry the movie. And surely Andy Garcia's Angel is the second. And this must have been one of his early films. I know he did TV. He's amazing in this film as this Colombian drug dealer.
Andy Garcia, this is a star-making performance. I've seen him in many movies, and he's always good and certainly competent, but my God, he's off the scale. I've never seen him this good. I mean, there was never a moment where you didn't totally believe he was this guy.
And then the third actor in this film, I think that carries it. His name is Randy Brooks. He plays Chance. He's actually pretty much a TV actor.
Yeah. When I was looking back at some of the stuff, I was really surprised to see that he did mostly television.
Yeah. Well, that's where the money is.
I guess so, but he was so good in this movie, and I totally believed him. And he was funny, too.
Yeah, he's
so funny in this. He was in Colors, the Dennis Hopper film.
Exactly.
With Sean Penn and Robert Duvall. And he was also in Reservoir Dogs. So he's had an interesting career, but I was surprised not to see more movies from him. I'm actually disappointed because I would like to see more stuff with this guy.
Yeah. Well, Mork and Mindy.
I'll get my collection of Mork and Mindy and I'll dig right in.
There you go.
Now, I don't think you're being fair because you said three
sorry.
great actors. Rosanna
actors.
But, you know.
And then there's an actress.
See, today we call all actors actors. We don't use the word actors.
It was a slight on my part. I'm kidding.
The thing is, Rosanna Arquette is terrific.
She's amazing.
In this movie.
Yes.
Her range is fantastic because she can look mean and cruel, and she can look bitchy and just awful.
Or vulnerable.
Or vulnerable. And she looks so vulnerable in certain parts of this.
Well, she's all of those in this movie.
Yeah. So she's terrific in this movie.
Yes.
The first thing I think she really came into sort of prominence was the Executioner song with Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
And the first time I recall seeing her that she made an impression on me was John Sayles' Baby It's You.
Oh, right.
So the movie starts out and we hear the whirring of the helicopter blades.
Yep.
And it's this great cityscape of Los Angeles, and it's a helicopter shot. We hear Jeff Bridges' voice. He's Detective Matt Scudder, and he's talking with his partner. And he's talking about the murder rate in Los Angeles has just gone up. It's just getting worse and worse. It's practically doubled, and even more in the summer. And you know that feeling from living in New York City, John.
Yeah.
You know, because when it's that hot and you got a box fan in your room, you are ready to commit murder at any given moment. So then Bridges says, there are 8 million stories in the naked city. Remember that old TV show? Well, what we got Here, in this town, we got 8 million ways to die. And the theme song comes in. It's beautiful.
I have to say, the helicopter shot, because I remember this when I first saw this movie, this is what drew me into the film. It winds its way through L.A.
Seamlessly, John.
And then you kind of go over the railroad tracks, and then it kind of finds this highway.
Yeah.
And then the camera finds on this highway this police car.
And it goes over the clover leaves and whatnot?
And it gets right over the police car, and the camera's like pointing vertically down. I don't know how they stuck with this police car, because it's literally right on top.
Yeah, it's an amazing tracking shot. Amazing.
It's like, for the drone pilots now, it's the greatest drone shot ever. I mean, it's such an amazing helicopter shot.
Right.
I'm going, how did they do that?
And what's great about it is it's moving and moving and moving, and finally it's so much over the top of it, it almost seems like the road is going up into the sky.
It's probably one of the best helicopter shots.
I love it.
And then we cut to this cemetery.
Yeah, it's a really strange perspective, because you have about a half a dozen police detectives, and you have all these gravestones in the foreground.
It's a Jewish cemetery.
It's a Jewish cemetery. Yeah, it's all these gravestones in front of you. So
it's like a long lens,
and you have all these gravestones that are towering over, or seem to be just bigger than these little tiny dwarfs in the background.
It's actually the sheriff department, and they're gathering to do this arrest.
Right.
And right next to the cemetery is this little house.
Yeah. It's a really beat up house.
Yeah.
But what's really strange, though, is it's 6 inches away from the cemetery.
Yes.
You know, well, the one thing you have to say is it's probably a quiet neighborhood then. You know,
and the rent's cheap.
The rent's cheap. So they're going in the back, and before they actually make it to the back, we see Matt take a swig of some booze.
He's got a flask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go in the back, and Scudder says, "Look, be careful with those clotheslines."
Yeah.
Because the last time I almost got decapitated.
I'll have to say, because it's throughout this movie, there's a lot of nice little details like that. So it feels real.
Yeah.
I mean, you really feel like you're on this stakeout.
Absolutely,
basically.
Absolutely. So Scudder goes up to the window, has these slats in it.
He talks through the window to this family, this guy with his family.
This guy sitting at the table with his kids,
like 3 kids,
having
and
breakfast.
A wife, Hispanic guy.
Yeah. He starts talking to him partly in Spanish and saying basically, "Hector, we got to take you in.
Yeah.
You know, really bad drugs that you're involved in here."
Right.
And Hector doesn't want to really go, and he says, "Look, we'll take you around the back, and nobody's going to have to see you."
Yeah.
And he says, "I don't want to go back to jail." And he goes, "Hector."
And you kind of feel for the guy, because you cut to the wife.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's here with his family. He knows he goes, he's not going to see them. And
no, it'll be done for him. So the guy Hector grabs a baseball bat, and just starts swinging at the guys inside. And Jeff Bridges is outside, and he doesn't know what the hell to do.
And Hector's really walloping one guy who's on the ground.
Well, he came close to probably breaking the first guy's arm, but now the guy's on the ground, and he's going to kill him with his baseball bat.
Well, he takes one gigantic swing.
Yeah.
Like a home run swing. He's ready to kill this guy.
And he says to him, "Stop. Hector, stop." And Hector raises the bat one more time, and Matt shoots him.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible scene, because it's not like that bang, 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 big violence sort of thing. You just see this bullet hit this guy in the chest and go, and out the back. And the guy is so stunned by it all, and he just drops down to his chair where he was eating breakfast 2 minutes ago. Yeah. So he's just sitting there completely dazed, and he's going to die. Matt goes, "Shit, fuck." He didn't want to shoot this guy.
The guy forced him into it.
So now
we're in the police station.
Right.
And Matt is being investigated by these internal affairs guys. And they're kind of grilling him over whether the suspect had a weapon.
Yeah, and the thing is, you feel really bad for Matt, because it wasn't his fault that he did have to do this thing. That cop would have been killed. There was really no other way around it. And he's sitting there, and he's down below the height of these other guys who are basically just standing over him, asking him questions. And they ask him, "Did the suspect fire his weapon first?" Matt goes, "No, he didn't." "You did?" "That's right." "Did the suspect return fire?" "No, he didn't." "You mean you fired at an unarmed man sitting in his kitchen in front of his family?" "I didn't say he was unarmed." "Then he had a weapon?" "Yeah." "What was it?" "A Louisville Slugger." "A what?" "A baseball bat, you son of a bitch. Dumb shit."
Yeah, and he knows where these guys are going with the question.
Absolutely.
Because on paper, this looks like terrible.
Yeah, he's like the worst cop ever.
Yeah, like the guy's unarmed.
Yeah. But I'm with him, and I love the fact that he said, it's a baseball bat, you dumb shit, son of a bitch. I love that, because they have it coming, and you could feel his frustration.
So Matt, you see him getting drunk with his partner, and then we cut to him, and he's laying on this wall.
It's early morning.
Outside his house, right next to a highway.
Right.
It's L.A.
That's L.A., sure.
I have to say, he's the most beautiful drunk there is, because he's in jeans, he's barefoot, he's got no shirt on, and you can see he's totally out of it, upset. I mean, he's depressed or whatever, and he just drank.
I'd like to know how he got up that wall with the bare feet and the no shirt.
And drunk.
That's a feat.
But the fact that he can even lay up there is an amazing feat. And you don't hear the dialogue, but his wife comes over.
But that's what's nice about it. Hal Ashby, he encapsulates this little scene visually.
And his wife comes over to console him and help him, and you can see he's not responding to her. He just kind of brushes her off.
Literally.
Or she's had enough, she walks away.
Right.
And then he climbs off the wall, he starts walking in the house, and then you see his daughter.
Yeah, that made me really sad. And I just thought, geez, what a terrible thing. Because this is what happens in an alcoholic family. I know somebody who grew up that way, and their father would be just walking down the street like some sloshing drunk. And, I can't imagine having to grow up in that situation. Yeah. So I felt terrible for the girl.
And she's 14 or something.
She's a kid, yeah.
Some time has passed, and we cut to Matt, and he's in front of this Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. He's giving his speech, and you hear that he's 6 months into this.
Right. Who are you?
They all call out.
Who are you?
What I love about the scene, I don't know if Hal Ashby was in Alcoholics Anonymous. Certainly it's a part of the novels, but there's so much great detail in the scene.
I agree.
You see the faces of the people.
Yeah, it was really well shot.
Because there's real alcoholics at different ages and walks of life, and there's smoke everywhere.
Right.
It's just a really well done scene.
Well, in an AA meeting, they're drinking coffee and they're smoking cigarettes.
Yep.
So, hi, Matt.
And, he goes through his whole spiel, and you learn that he lost his job, he lost his family. Right. His life has come to a crashing halt in a way because of all this.
And then he's approached by this woman who was at the meeting.
Yeah.
And she comes up to him and says, someone wants to meet you. And Matt's like, it's kind of vague. She said, well, here, this will pretty much explain it all. And he opens up the envelope, and it's a note, and it's got money attached to it.
Well, she says, I hear you help people. And that's the whole deal with, he's not a private eye. He's just an ex-cop, and he helps people. And if you give him money to do it, great. He'll do you a favor for whatever. He just knows people because he's a cop, etc.
Well, you have more on it than I do because you read the books.
I'm just saying, that's the only resemblance to the books right there in the alcoholism. Yeah. That's it.
The title?
The title. What's funny about the title?
Yeah.
It refers to 8 million people
in New York City. I got it.
LA's got a lot more than 8 million people.
Right. Well, it still works regardless.
No, it does.
So he comes to this palatial LA estate. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it myself. It reminds me of Xanadu in Citizen Kane.
Good for
and
it.
It's up on this high hill, this big white palatial estate. And it has its own tram or gondola that goes up to it. The one tram goes up and the other one comes down, so it's a constant thing, so anybody wants to go up or down could. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, what's funny is I looked at that and I'm like, and he pulls up in his kind of beat up little Chrysler. And there's like the valet at the bottom there. And I'm like, they don't have a driveway? Like, what's going on? But that's where you park.
That's it. You park down the bottom.
It's crazy.
And then you take the tram up. And then we meet Sunny. She's this cute, sweet, but not too bright prostitute, played by Alexandra Paul, who did a lot of television, and she was also on Baywatch.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. She's very cute, and she plays this role to the hilt.
Well, he walks in, and it's clearly this mansion is a gambling den, basically.
Right. You see the roulette tables and the.
And she just walks out of this crowd of glamorous people.
Right.
She's got this white dress.
She's a vision.
Total 80s haircut.
Total 80s haircut, yes.
Walks right up to Matt, and he's like taken aback, like, what's going on here?
Look, if we met any sooner than the past 6 months, I got to tell you, I don't remember anything.
That's great. And then we meet Chance.
AKA Willie Walker.
Who doesn't like the fact that Matt calls him that.
Right, because he ain't Willie no more.
So Chance has a kind of a hostess, Sarah.
Yeah.
Who kind of runs the show.
Rosanna Arquette.
Yeah. And he tells Rosanna, that was me in a previous life. Matt busted me. And I guess that
and
bust.
Indirectly,
right.
I ended up getting into all this business.
Exactly.
Not a bad turnaround.
Yeah.
Certainly doing better than Matt.
But there's this funny kind of hot and cold antagonistic relationship between Chance and Matt.
It's great. It's I'd say it's my favorite thing in the movie.
Yeah.
The scenes with them, because they interact so beautifully.
Yeah.
In this really, classic comedy way.
I just have to say, for Randy Brooks to go toe-to-toe with Jeff Bridges and stay with him, you know what I mean? That's pretty good.
In fact, sometimes he gets an opportunity and he takes it to one-up him.
Yeah.
So Sonny tries to talk to Matt, but she gets distracted because somebody is eyeballing her and comes over to her, and we meet this other guy. His name's Angel Maldonado, and it's played by Andy Garcia. Holy cow. Sleazy, creepy, scary.
All in one.
And I just got chills thinking about him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If you want an arch villain, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe the Marvel franchise should pull him up or something.
Well, what's weird about the guy is he's not that big.
Right.
He's handsome. He's got the slick back hair.
Yeah.
And he's dressed up.
Yep. To the nines. That's an expensive suit.
And he doesn't even seem that overtly violent, but he's got this menace to him.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel this violence just below the skin. You just see it. Any minute could just come up, and it's terrifying.
And he kind of goes up to Sonny, and you never see the crazy jealous people.
Yeah.
He's got that too.
Oh yeah.
Like he doesn't want anybody to be with his girl or
somebody he's interested in.
Yeah. It's scary.
Because Sonny's a prostitute and she's working the club.
Right.
So it's not like he has, the only say in what goes on. So Matt is introduced to Angel, and Angel calls him Matchu. It looks like a nice boy.
So then we cut to Matt.
He's heading home, and he lives out back from a bar, which is kind of strange. He's an alcoholic, but he doesn't drink. The bartender says, well, get out of here, Matt. We need the business. Ha, ha, ha. It's kind of their running joke. And all of a sudden, you look over to the stairs that Matt was going to exit, and you see this vision.
Yes.
It's Sonny coming down the stairs, very sexy, very slowly, in this beautiful silk dress. She starts playing this, coyish girl thing, but also overtly sexy routine that she does.
Well, that's her job, right?
That's what she does. But I don't think it's just her job. That's why she does that. I think that certain women act this way. And that's the way they understand how to act with men and treat men. Yeah. And in some ways to control men because of that sexuality. So that's what she's kind of playing with there. And you can see how tense Matt is. So finally she says, can we talk? He goes, fine. Can we talk at your place? Sure. And they go back to his place.
It's funny. She's in this cop bar, basically, and she orders a daiquiri.
Banana daiquiri.
And she wants to take one with her.
Can I get one to go?
I'm sure that guy hasn't made a banana daiquiri in years.
It's like Nick from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
We serve hard drinks for people who want to get drunk fast. So they go back to Matt's Sheldon Leonard. So they go back to Matt's apartment, and she's really being evasive, and she's not quite getting to the point. And she says, as you just said before, that I hear you help people. Says, well, yeah. She says, okay, I have to use the bathroom. And then she goes, Matthew, could you help me out? And he goes to the bathroom. He goes, what do you need, Sonny? And all the lights are out. And she's standing there with her foot up on the toilet seat, and she's completely naked.
Yes, in the moonlight.
In the moonlight. And she says, the street light makes my pussy hair glow in the dark. Now, you don't hear that every day.
Do you see me cringing?
Well, she does say it, And
it's in the script. I have to say, it's one of the craziest lines in the movie ever.
Yeah.
It's also her shtick in a way. She's playing him or trying to.
I have known girls in my past, back when I was single, who feel they have to act that certain sexy way in order to kind of manipulate you and to doing things for them. And that's what she's trying to do. She's just trying to basically freeze his brain.
Well, Matt is not having it.
He gets really mad. He turns the light on. She's really embarrassed. He throws a robe at her.
Yeah.
And he says, look, you tell me what's going on right here now, or you're out of here, because you're making me really nervous.
Yes.
What's her ulterior motive? He has no idea what she's up to. So finally she comes clean and says, I need you to talk to Chance.
Right.
I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm really scared of him, and you got to go talk to Chance. He says, I'll call him on the phone. She goes, no, you got to talk to him in person. So Matt goes back to Chance's place, and he tries to pay him off with $2,500 to let Sonny go. And Chance gets really upset. And this is where this guy, Randy Brooks, is really good. He gets really upset. He goes, look, man. And he takes a breath in because he's really upset and he's really trying to control himself. But part of him is anger and part of him's hurt that this impression is being put out there that he's this kind of guy who's going to hurt somebody.
Well, he's not a pimp.
No. And he says, I pay all the girls around here a flat salary just for showing up at my club. And I feed them. I lease their cars. I even have a trust fund set up in case something happens to one of them. But all I pay them for is their availability to my customers. I ain't no pimp. Right. So he's pissed. He goes, I'm nobody's pimp. And if I was, I'd be the most pussy whipped pimp in this town. One of the best lines of the whole movie. Great.
I love where he says, I hate money, man. If it's new, it cuts your fingers. If it's old, it stinks.
So he's yelling this, and his bodyguard, Nose Guard. He's about 9 feet tall. Comes in, and Sarah comes in. And Sarah's not just a prostitute. She basically is kind of like a business manager, and she helps him out with the run the business
with the girls
and stuff.
Too.
And she also is a prostitute, but that's not her whole thing. And the first thing, one of the first things he says to her, you got any Maylocks?
Chance, yeah. Him and his Maylocks.
One of the first Chance, he said, you got any Maylocks?
Yeah. He loves his Maylocks.
I just thought it was hilarious because here's a guy who looks like he's just, clean as can be. He's sophisticated. He's got a fantastic business here, but he's got stomach problems.
It's a great character device because
absolutely.
Here's this guy who, as you said, he's this player. He's got an upset stomach.
Right.
I mean, it plagues him.
So Matt goes back to Sonny and says, look, Chance is not going to hurt you. He's basically he's offended by this whole thing. And she says, no, you don't understand. He's lying. He's dangerous. And he's going to hurt me. And I'm really scared of him. And she convinces Matt to take her to the airport.
Right. The next day.
And before they go to the airport, she has to go to her safety deposit box at the
next
bank.
Morning, we see them.
Right.
She's coming out of the bank with Matt.
And she's getting her ticket that was in her safety deposit box, which really seems kind of strange. Why would you have a ticket in the safety deposit box? In fact, Matt even asked her that.
Well, to hide it because she's living in that house.
I suppose, but it just seems.
And this is back in the 80s. I mean, it was all paper tickets, remember? So
right. She just seems really suspicious that we still don't know what the heck's going on.
Oh, she's paranoid.
And so they go to a dry cleaner's. So she's got to get some dry cleaner or something. And there's a
like a Western
store right next door. And he says, I'm just going to get something for my daughter. Yeah. So he goes in and gets some riding boots for his daughter, and he comes right out. Shouldn't be a problem. She's right there in the cleaners and stuff. And he comes out. His front tire's flat. And there's the dress that she got from the dry cleaners, and she's gone.
Ground. She's gone. And lo and behold, on the side of the building is a creeper van that pulls away.
A creeper van?
Yes. It's what the kids call it these days.
All right, fine. I got it now. I'm hip now. So a creeper van, okay. And it peels out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Matt just gets in his car and drives. And it's a really neat chase scene because he's driving on a rim.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever driven on a flat tire with a rim before. I can't imagine driving as fast as he's driving, and it's a front wheel, so you have
no turning,
very little control over that thing because that thing is biting into the ground.
I mean, he can barely keep up with this van.
But he's going and going and going and going. And then you see Sonny's face at the back window, and she's screaming at him.
Yes.
And we see some blood or something, and we don't know what's going on. But we know that.
I mean, it splashes on the window. They don't make it subtle.
It was
a little over the top. The blood part.
I could see the turkey baster. All you had to do, that's one big beef I had.
Yeah.
You know, there's the PA it's sitting underneath the window. Turkey baster cue now. Because the thing is, all you had to do is just show her face.
Yeah, exactly.
And we get it.
And she gets pulled back.
Right, gets pulled back, that's it. You didn't have to show blood or anything else.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's still a great chase scene. Matt's just about caught up to them, and they're up on a bridge, on an overpass.
Well, the van is stopped.
Right.
We don't know why.
And then it peels off. And Matt comes up and gets out of the car and looks, and there's Sonny.
Yep.
Now, for me, that's a really, really vivid scene.
They've tossed her over the bridge.
Right.
Down below into a gully. It's like a sewage drain or something.
She's lying there in this oily ooze, and you just see the blood running out of her. So it's really distressing. This beautiful young girl she's dead.
Yeah.
And that's devastated.
Right. We see him on the top.
He feels totally responsible for all of this.
Well, we dissolve actually, and you see Matt in a hospital gown.
The shot's it's an interesting shot because it starts at his foot.
Yeah.
And it pans up his knee. And then to the left, you see there's a cheap blanket, and it says detox on it.
And it's almost like he's had a stroke in a way. You know, like if you've ever really gone on a bender and blacked out, you're barely functioning.
I've not. I've seen people who have, but I've not.
I mean, the side of his face is almost hanging, and he can just barely.
It does look
function.
like you have a stroke.
Yeah.
And he couldn't look more hideous.
Yeah. I mean, it's just another great piece of acting.
Fantastic piece of acting, because you totally believe he is in detox, going through cold turkey. And they do this point of view shot where he's getting up out of bed.
Right.
And you hear the guy that's sitting right across from him go, the hardest part is just waking up.
And you see, I mean, how terrible an alcoholic he is. I mean, it really, people who are that bad, they black out. You don't know what's going on for days. You don't know when you're going to wake up or where.
Well, they don't call it detox for nothing, man, because he literally poisoned himself and probably could have died.
One thing I've always remembered about this movie, it's just an unusual portrait of alcoholism.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot. So Matt, he ends up calling his ex-wife to speak to his daughter, and you can see the look on his face because she tells him, "What? You missed her birthday." Like, I don't even think he realized he missed her birthday.
He didn't. You were supposed to be there, and he says, "What?"
Yeah.
He has no idea, and he's so frustrated. He takes the phone and he smashes it. Remember the old Bell phones, John?
Yeah.
you could smash the shit out of those things, and they wouldn't even chip.
Well, he knows how out of control this is. So he goes into his car, in the trunk of his car, and he pulls out, he's rifling through it, and he pulls out Sonny's gym bag, and he takes it inside, and the first thing he pulls out is a little address book.
It's an address book.
Like a leather
it's a phone book.
calendar.
It's a ledger. It's a file of facts. It's got credit cards.
So it's got dates in it and stuff, and and then he sees this list of names, and it appears to be like all of Angel's guys.
Yeah.
And there are these
They're all
numbers.
Spanish names,
just next to it. There are these numbers, like 4 or 5. We don't know what they mean.
Right.
And he keeps going through, and in the very back of this leather-bound book is this pocket, and he pulls out this piece of jewelry. And it's a silver necklace-type jewelry.
With jade jewels in it.
Yeah. And a very distinct, like, jaguar character. Yeah. So also in the bag, which is a big brown, he has his other thing, is this brown paper bag from Po' Boys.
Yeah.
I want to go to that supermarket. Po' Boys. It's a big brown supermarket bag, and he rips it open. It's taped up, and cash.
It explodes.
It explodes.
Cascades all over the house,
Which I guess Sonny stole, right? Where'd that money come from?
We don't know. But
is that hers?
He finds, also in the wallet, he finds this piece of paper folded up, and it's got powder in it, and he figures out it's Coke. He tastes it. And as he opens it up a little bit further, there's a telephone number. So he thinks, let me make a call. So he makes a call, and it's Po' Boys Market. So he hangs up, and he thinks, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
So he goes over. He's still pretty damn hungover and feeling awful. And he goes over to the market and starts walking around.
And what's funny, though, when he first goes in, so clearly it's an inner city market.
Not a bad place.
Looked like they had some nice vegetables and stuff, but he's kind of limping.
Looked better than the market we went to back in Fort Greene, John.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As I said, I want to go to Po' Boys.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, so he's kind of looking around at this market. What's happening here? And he's poking around, and he ends up going into a back kind of stock area.
Stock room, yeah.
And he sees these Hispanic men.
They're stacking these. They look kind of like Duraflames. So Matt makes his way from there out to the back. So there's a beautiful Jaguar in the back, and who's sitting in it but Chance?
When Matt first walks up, he spooks the shit out of Chance, who pulls his gun.
Right, instantly.
What are you walking up behind me like that for?
And he says, damn, man, you look like shit. And Matt says, I feel like shit. He says, come on, sit in the car. I want to talk to you. So he goes, but you're not going to throw up, are you?
Yeah.
And Matt goes, I might. He doesn't hate Matt, but he's just agitated by him. Every time Matt gets connected with him, it seems to be some sort of irritant to him and implicates him in something.
He's upset with Matt because Matt gave the police, when he was being interrogated about Sonny's murder, Chance's name. So Chance is all pissed off about that.
Yeah, he says, whatever you told those cops, they were up my black ass for 5.5 hours. Matt said, well, but she was afraid of you. And Chance says, he gets really pissed and he goes, it wasn't me. Boom! Bops him with the back of his hand really hard. And this is where these guys are really funny together. Yeah. It's like two brothers, like an older and a younger brother.
Yes.
And the one brother punches the other brother, and the other brother goes, oh, yeah? And he takes his whole body. Only kids would do this thing. And they're in this tiny sports car, so Matt shoves his whole body into Chance and starts pushing him sort of out the window, and he holds him taut by putting his feet up against the other side of it. So once again, this is the kind of thing. I remember doing this with my brother.
Well, when you're the little one, and clearly Matt's not feeling his best, and Chance is an ex-athlete, it's all he has is his body to use his leverage. He can't really.
But it's hilarious the way these two interact.
What's funny about Chance is he's squeezed up there and he's upset, but it's not like he's not like he's getting totally angry. He's just kind of like, come on, what are you doing?
And Matt says, she told me she was scared of you. You're a suspect, motherfucker. And Chance goes, the suspect, motherfucker.
And I like how Nose Guard shows up. Tommy Lister is Nose Guard. And Tommy Lister is an interesting guy. He was a football player. He's huge.
Huge.
He's in a lot of movies. He's always like either the friendly, big, strong guy, or he's like a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's played in a lot of movies.
He's typecast for a reason. So he goes back to Chance's place to talk to Sarah and find out what she does know about Sonny and who the hell she was afraid of. So she just can't stand this guy, Matt Scudder. She's so angry at him. She has so much contempt for them. She says, I think you're a fucking freeloader and a lush, and you got Sonny killed.
Right.
So then we cut to Angel Maldonado, and he's at the craps table. And I love this because he asks the fat henchman, because he's out of money for craps.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, stop eating. Go give me $25,000. Go give me $25,000. It was like, can you go get a couple of bucks out of my wallet in the car? So that's how much money this guy has to throw around just because he feels like it.
I like the scene where obviously Angel's playing craps,
right?
And some other guy at the table. He looks like Barry Gibb, beard and tall white guy with a beard. Did
he sing with a falsetto?
He gets into a beef with Angel,
right?
But what's interesting about Angel is he gets really angry, but he's restrained.
Right.
And his lieutenant, Tio, which is uncle in Spanish, comes over. He's like his...
I didn't know you were bilingual.
He calms him down, kind of.
He is definitely a handler.
Yeah.
And without this guy, it's almost like this guy would spontaneously combust because he is violence
But
incarnate.
He never goes over the top, Angel. It's interesting. He does. You could see that he could instantly kill this guy if he wants, but he kind of pulls back. He kind of knows his priorities in a way. Like
that's a good point. His priorities. Yes.
And then Sarah, who is the fixer too for Chance, has to come over and calm him down.
Yeah.
She goes right there, which is, I feel bad for this girl.
Yeah.
And when she's calming him down, he puts his hand around her, and Matt sees on a ring on Angel's hand, and it's the same Jaguar.
It's the jewel from the bracelet. Yeah.
Right. So right away he knows.
Very Mission Impossible.
Yeah. So Matt tries to warn Sarah about Angel.
He tries to warn her. She doesn't want to hear anything about it. So finally, Matt takes matters into his own hands. He grabs her and picks her up and takes her onto one of the tram cars, and he's going to take her down to the car because he wants to talk to her.
I mean, he's literally carrying her, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Once they're outside,
she screams, and he actually has to put his hand over her mouth. And who comes out to be the hero?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Angel.
Creepy.
Well, that's his property in his eyes.
That's exactly right. That's his property as far as he's concerned. So he's getting really upset, really pissed off. Sarah! And finally, in all of this punching and kicking and screaming, Matt tells her he killed Sonny.
Right.
It's the same jewel that I saw in Sonny's wallet. I'm telling you, he did it. And finally she tells Angel, just give me a break. I've been working all night. I'll be back soon.
Right.
But Angel says, you want to play games? I'll play games. And I just got the chills in my spine because you just think, what does that mean from this scary guy?
So Matt and Sarah go back to his place.
Right. She tries to get him drunk.
Yeah. He doesn't drink. She ends up puking in his lap.
Right.
He puts her to bed.
Yeah.
She wakes up and she's kind of surprised that he didn't take advantage of her.
Exactly.
And she talks about her dad being an alcoholic.
Right.
And how he died when she was young. And Matt really feels for that because he understands how he's an alcoholic and
That's the terrible thing about the disease.
You're not there for
you lose your family. Yeah.
And that was, I suddenly thought, oh, this is why she doesn't like Matt. It's like they have very similar stories in a way, and they kind of bond over this.
Yeah. So they get to the Los Angeles Coliseum, and as soon as Matt pulls up, he's blocked in by Angel's two cars. And you feel the tension. It just builds and builds from that process. There's so much tension in this scene. And Angel is not happy to see Matt with Sarah. He from this point on, he calls him Scooter. As opposed to Scudder. He refers to him as Scooter. Scooter, you didn't tell me you're going to bring the light of my life here today.
Now, right away, my thought was to Matt, why the fuck did you bring Sarah to this meeting?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I'm going to have to agree. But she's there. That's it. And the tension only builds even more because she's there. But Matt's going to hold his ground. And Angel comes out and says, we got a treat today. Snow cones, real shaved ice.
Yeah.
One flavor today, passion fruit. This guy is so creepy because he ends it with, it's good for people when they're in love.
Yes. Well, to him, he has a relationship with Sarah.
Right.
She hates him. She doesn't show it. She can't. But and it's funny, though, he's still a gentleman to her. Like, it's not like he grabs her and takes her and rapes her. He
plays the gentleman, though.
He plays the gentleman.
He's very manipulative.
And he kind of maneuvers her into the car.
Yeah, he says, come sit and relax in my car. And you think, fuck, that's the worst place to possibly be.
Yeah. So Matt and Angel go off and talk.
And Matt says, let's not pull each other. I know you did Sonny.
Yeah. I love in the scene, it's Matt. They're right in front of the Coliseum in the background. Tio is always lurking behind.
He's circling.
But he's like back and forth.
Yeah. And it's really tense because Angel and Tio are talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
Now, Matt speaks a little Spanish here, but not like this. So imagine being in that situation. You don't know what these guys are saying. And it builds up and it builds up and the camera's moving around and back and around and back. And this is where I feel Hal Ashby, as an editor, really knew how to shoot a scene to put it together this way because it's beautiful. And it just builds this tension to so much you want to scream.
Yeah. But Angel's kind of still restrained. He doesn't go for the bait in a way.
Matt says, I know you did Sonny. And Angel says to him, you ain't going to survive this shit. if you hit me with this blackmail shit. He's getting pushed that I know you did Sonny.
Yeah.
And he's so fucking angry with this.
Right.
And he uses these phrases, you better beware.
Yeah. I mean, he can only be pushed so far.
Understand what I'm saying? And you just go, oh my God. And they get face to face. But Tio keeps saying, just keep yourself cool.
Suave.
I guess that's suave in Spanish? To be suave?
I think it's calm.
Calm. All right.
Suave.
All right. During all this, Matt tries to bait Angel into doing business.
Well, he is, yeah.
He's got $250,000 to spend. And Angel looks at him like, well, what am I going to do with that? And he goes, the white stuff. And
so smooth.
And Angel says, isn't that a movie about astronauts? Now, that's a dated joke I've ever heard one.
It was a good one.
Still funny. So he tells him basically, maybe, I don't know, I'm putting together a snow cone franchise. You get $250,000 from your friend Angel, maybe we can do some business.
I was like, why would you pay $250,000 for ice? I don't get it.
It's expensive syrup, John. That passion fruit's a fortune.
About the syrup.
Yeah, of course. The ice is cheap.
So Angel, finally, he's like, come up with the money. Go get it from Chance. If you're so big, let's say you put
your buddy
up,
Chance.
Yeah. And Angel, he just takes off, and he takes Sarah with him.
Right. And you can see the glare on her face like, what the fuck did you just get me into?
Exactly.
The next scene is a great scene. It's just a short scene, but it's really, really funny. So Matt goes to Chance for help. I like how the beginning starts out where it's a wide-angle shot, and the characters in the distance because Chance was jogging, and Matt followed him way in the distance. And you hear this conversation, and you can hear the voices, and you see all this body language, and you don't really need a close-up on this. So I really like the way this is shot in a wide angle. Well, Matt says to him, he goes, I got to get $250,000 from you to make a deal with him. Chance says, you want $250,000 of my money? Bullshit. But Matt says, look, he's got Sarah. So Chance is really pissed. How could you get fucking Sarah into this? What is wrong with you?
I like in that wide shot, you see them in the distance, and suddenly in the left side of the frame, this huge hand comes in, and it's nose guard on the side of the frame.
He takes up half the frame.
Then
John.
he walks into the frame.
He's like the Incredible Hulk.
And then Matt and Chance are bickering.
They start pushing each other. And Chance says, you out of your fucking mind? Getting Sarah involved in this?
Yeah.
And he pushes him. And Scudder gets mad and pushes him back. Nose guard.
Takes off.
Right away, takes off down the field. And Matt sees him coming. And
this 300-pound muscular guy.
It's literally like a bull charging you. So Matt sees him coming, and he brings up his ankle, and he reaches in his sock, and he just points it at him. And he goes, you may be big, but you can bleed. And what's interesting about this is I have to wonder how many shots would it have taken him to put him down at that speed, because the guy is so big. They're pushing each other left and right. So finally, Matt says, enough. This is all about getting Sarah out of there. I got a plan, so just listen to me. And he turns to Nose Guard, and he says, you got any Malox? And Matt goes, here's my last one.
My last one.
He goes, look, Will, no AKs, no guns, no nothing. You're going to get it killed. And I thought that was really interesting that he called him Will, because his name is Willie Walker. Now his new name is Chance, but he calls him Will like a friend. And I thought that was interesting. That, to me, changed the whole dynamic there, where they were adversarial,
Well, the ceremonial passing of the Malox is kind of a peace offering.
But it is, as a person who's had stomach problems over the years, I can understand that. Yeah, for sure.
Are you a Malox man? I'm a Tums man.
I'm a Malox guy.
Okay,
yeah.
I like Tums. I've never had Malox.
I'll take my Lanta if necessary.
All right. So they show up to this house, and then in the back alley, there's two cars. Chance and Nose Guard are driving.
Right.
They drop Matt off.
Right.
They go around the block. So Matt goes into this house. It's in the style of Gaudi, the Spanish architect.
Which has all these soft corners and these bends, and it almost looks like it's melting or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Angel, who's very impressed with his artistic acumen, and he's trying to be cultured. He's got all this money. He's built this house, and he's got this little brochure about Gaudi, and he's very proud of this. And he's showing Matt around. Matt just wants to talk business. And he's like having to put up with this spiel.
Angel says, he's reading from the brochure, he goes, just as elegance and beauty were inseparable for Gaudi, beauty and truth were identical for him. Beauty was a manifestation of truth. Without truth, there could be no beauty.
Ew. There's something sleazy, right?
God, this guy's talking about art, this creepy guy. So Sarah's there basically being held as prisoner.
I love how she's dressed up in some sexy outfit that obviously Angel thinks is attractive.
Yeah.
And Matt's like, you look like shit. Right away.
So he comes to Angel finally and says, I got the money.
In the back, in the entrance, some lackey comes in and he's carrying one of the logs. And he sees them talking and he does an about face, but Matt does not miss that.
Matt catches it. That's right.
What's really cool about that shot is Angel doesn't catch it.
No, he doesn't. Matt's really good at covering it because he could have gone, did a double take. He just saw it and he just kept talking and stuff.
He doesn't say anything. He just lets it go.
Right. Then Matt says to him, come on, I got the money, let's do the deal. And he goes, Scooter, I'm not going to do business with you.
Yeah.
He goes, why'd you have to be so disrespectful? Why you're so rude? And Matt goes, rude? Well, you splattered Sonny all over the sidewalk. Talk about being rude.
Oh my God.
And finally, Maldonado comes clean as he's going to come. And he says, you know what happened to Sonny? It pays to advertise. And that says it right there. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I just got the chills now because this girl is a
threat, right?
Oh my God, this girl is in deep shit. How the hell is he going to extricate this girl from this house? So the next scene, we cut to the po' boy market.
I'm going to go shopping there.
John, I got to get you a gift card. That's it.
Po' boys. So they go to po' boys, Chance and Noseguard and Matt.
Right. And they go upstairs to where these logs were stored, and they break them open. And there they are.
Matt's huge, gleeful. He breaks one. He's like, yeah.
Huge bag of Coke.
Yeah.
In each one of these, it's got to be
a key
of Coke. Right.
Yeah. Well, what's messed up for Chance is he's just finding out that Angel's been infiltrating his store. He's been putting his people in his store with all these employees.
You're not in business with Angel, but he's in business with you.
Exactly. They go outside, and Matt's car is loaded to the gills with all these logs. And they can't put any more on. Matt's like, you can't fit anymore. And Chance's like, okay, we'll put these in mine. He's got 3 logs. Okay.
Matt has an idea. He calls up Maldonado, Angel.
Yeah.
And says, I got all your Coke. And you just see the expression on his face. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what's he going to do to Sarah? Because she's sitting right next to him.
Right. Well, for all you nerds out there, when you first go to this scene when Angel gets the call, Fat Man is there playing a video game on a Macintosh classic computer.
I believe he calls him Einstein at one point.
He does, but I call him Fat Man.
No, but I'm just saying, I believe he calls him Einstein at one point because he's just, Einstein, get over that thing. As I said, so Matt says to him, look, I got all your Coke, and if you want your Coke back, I want Sarah, and I want you to meet me at this warehouse, and here's the address. So they meet at this warehouse, and when Angel walks in, Matt Scudder is way the hell down the other end. Right. I mean, it's like a football field.
It's a big hangar almost, yeah.
And he's got all the Coke wired to explode.
Like detonators, and there's gasoline cans.
So Matt says, where's Sarah? Basically, Angel says, no, Sarah, I want the Coke. And he said, no, bring in Sarah. He said, okay, I'll bring in Sarah. So the fat guy comes in, and he's got a shotgun taped to Sarah's neck with duct
Duct
tape. So it ain't going to move anywhere. And then he has the trigger duct taped to his hand. So there's no way in hell, even if you shot him, he can still shoot her and kill her right to the
I
neck.
remember when I first saw this movie.
Unbelievable.
You're like, there's no way you can get her out of there.
No.
It's so messed
situation.
up and genius at the same time.
Exactly. But that's the mind of this guy.
Like, she's literally duct taped to the business end, I'll say, of a shotgun. Jesus Christ. All you got to do is one mistake. You just see her head dissolve.
And to make matters worse for Sarah, she's blindfolded. So she doesn't know what's up, down, sideways. So she just knows that this guy, this sleazy guy, the fat guy, listen to your daddy, Mama.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So creepy.
And so I just have to mention also Chance and Nose Guard are here too on each side.
Right.
And it's kind of like the OK Corral.
But the interesting thing is Matt goes, I just said one person inside.
Right.
Because Tio is also in too.
Yep. Tio's always there, yep.
and Angels just says basically, fuck you, we're doing it my way.
Right. So they're each trying to get control of this crazy situation.
And they're walking closer and closer to Scudder. And finally, Matt goes, if you don't cut her loose, I'm going to burn this key right now.
Right.
And you're thinking, geez, you got to be kidding me. And Angel's, yeah, right, you're not going to do a damn thing. So he throws it down on the ground, sprays lighter fluid all over it, and lights it on fire, and Angel loses his mind.
Oh, yeah. That's
Put it out!
I was trying to figure out how much money that would be.
Put it out!
Who knows what a key would be, but it's $100,000? I don't know. Street value? Who knows? But Angel's like freaking out.
Put it out! So he's still talking and walking closer and delaying. Matt goes, that's it. I'm going to do another one. No. I'll cut her loose.
Well, I'm going to go. I'm going for seconds.
I'll cut her loose. Put it out. Oh, too late.
He's like, God damn you. He's
so finally,
losing it.
he has Sarah cut loose.
I love how Fat Man just pulls out the knife and he's just holding it out there.
I feel sorry for Rosanna Arquette because that had to hurt. Having that duct tape on you and also getting that thing pulled on your neck to get it cut open. So she gets freed and Chance calls her over. Come to me. Hurry up. Come on to me. And the whole time Angel is screaming at her, go to your hero. Come on, go to your hero. And he's blocking her way. So the tension is getting worse and worse and worse. So she runs over, she screams. Chance puts her to the side, pulls out a gun, and is going for Angel. And Angel opens his jacket and goes, and they go at each other like it's...
And I have to say, Matt is screaming at this point for everybody to stop.
Yeah.
It's just going back and forth. Yeah.
But Chance can't stop himself. So he pulls out this gun and...
It just goes crazy. It's like the OK Corral.
Exactly right. I was going to say it's like a gunfight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chance gets shot, hits the ground. So does Angel.
Yeah.
He falls to the ground. And then that's it. Matt lights everything on fire, and that's the end of that. And there's smoke coming up from all over the place.
And we see the police, the sheriff,
like Spider-Man,
coming down from the rafters,
rappel down, and they start shooting. And then what happens? Fat Man gets shot.
I feel bad for Fat Man. He goes right down on his back. His big belly's there, and he just starts twitching.
I never felt sorry for him. He's so creepy and sleazy.
He's kind of nice.
He would have been He would have been very happy to blow her.
The man knows how to make a snow cone.
He does know how to make a snow cone.
Don't disrespect him.
Real shaved ice, John. So the cops are coming down, and it's all this melee, and Tio comes.
Tio
grabs Angel and gets the hell out of there, and they escape.
Yeah, because of all the confusion. Yeah. And Matt's pissed. He goes to his friends, the cops. He's like, you let him escape. You let him escape.
Right, exactly. So there's nothing they can do about it.
Nope.
So Matt takes Sarah back to her house, which is Chance's house.
It's like later that night.
Right. They get on the tram, and they're on their way going up.
Right. So just so you can picture this, the trams are on opposite ends of the tracks, and one goes up, the other comes down. It's automatic. They're attached.
Right.
Somehow,
so you can keep people moving if you have a bunch of people. So they're on the tram going up, and all of a sudden, as it engages, we see Angel walk to the top.
Slowly walks in.
It's like a monster movie, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So he's waiting for them, and Matt sees it, and he goes, what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah.
So he smashes the lights
That's such a great touch.
Yeah.
Have him knock you know what I mean? It's
Smash
just another great touch.
You're not illuminating us. He can't see us. So it's a smart cop thing to do.
Yeah.
And so he just tells Sarah to get down.
Yep.
And Maldonado's standing there.
And he pushes her down. It's almost like it hurts her.
Yeah, get down. So it's making its way up, and you're thinking, well, how the fuck is this going to happen now? What are they going to do? I mean, he's going to go right up to him, and this guy's going to shoot him.
He can't stop it.
So Matt's looking for a way out, and he says, okay, I'm gonna go out the back. I'm going to climb down, and I'm going to get on the other tram.
Yeah.
And he's just about to do this, and Tio pops up and starts shooting a machine gun like crazy.
Yeah.
Matt draws a bead on him, shoots him, and kills him.
Out.
And Angel goes bananas.
It's like his friend or whatever.
His closest friend.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is his uncle. I don't know.
He's like, he calls out, Theo.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. The sleazy lizard or whatever he's called.
So
he's alone in the world.
All alone in the world. So he has to get Sarah off there. So he just tells Sarah, get off, go into the trees.
Yeah.
And he's got to make his way up this
trestle,
exactly. And now at this point, it's Maldonado is so freaked out. Yeah. Angel is so freaked out that he doesn't care. He just walks down at him. He's just shooting.
He's walking down kind of the side of the tracks,
just like he's
Scooter,
like he's invincible. And he's going shooting down him. So Matt goes down underneath. He goes, yeah, that's it, Scooter. Hide, Scooter. And Matt's being smart. Hide so you don't get shot. That's a good thing. This guy's on a total crazy macho high. And finally, Matt gets underneath, and Angel is looking over the side, shooting. He's shooting every possible place he could think of just to get him. Matt draws a bead on him. Boom, hits him in the neck. And he starts to teeter and totter, and then he falls down. And you see his face.
The tie.
Like
he's
in railroad
through
tracks.
The ties, right.
And he's looking down, and his face is white and waxen. He's bleeding out of his neck and out of his mouth, and the blood is running down from his face, and he looks like a fucking monster in a monster movie.
Yeah, it is lit like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it reminds me of the scene in Wrath of Khan, where Ricardo Montalban says, for hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee. Because that's going to be it.
Yeah.
You know, whether he gets killed or not, he's going to still try.
Right.
And he's going to pop that clip in and still shoot him back. Scudder says, don't do it, Angel. And Angel just looks at him. Boom, he pops the clip in and bang. Scudder shoots him right in the head. I didn't shed a tear. I was not sorry to see him go.
I shed a tear for Tio. I kind of like Tio.
Tio would have shot you as soon as he looked at you, John.
Suave.
Weep not for Tio.
No. So cut to this beach. It's months later, it seems. It's an AA meeting.
Yeah.
And Matt's kind of recovered. You see he's doing better. It's been 6 months. He's talking. But what's interesting about the ending is it's very similar to the beginning where Matt had to shoot somebody. Right. And unlike the beginning where he goes off the deep end, he's I think he's now on the road to recovery.
Sure.
He even talks about finding love and how great that is.
Right.
And that's kind of our romantic LA ending.
And he goes off into the sunset basically with Rosanna Arquette or Sarah.
Yes. So let me just start this way.
Yeah.
Why does this film work? It had all these issues with the making of it.
Right.
You know, the writers, there were 3 writers. Hal Ashby lost control of the film. It got really terrible reviews and did not do well at the box office.
I didn't know it got terrible reviews.
Yeah.
Oh.
We liked it.
I loved it.
We saw it.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
I still do.
How it is. It's a really great kind of genre movie. The acting's fantastic.
But that's it, John. That's it right there. Why does it work? The characters are well written.
Yeah.
I believe the characters.
Yeah.
And the acting. Everybody who's in this movie that has to play a role plays it to the hilt. That's what makes it work for me.
Yeah.
It's the characters that make it work for me.
Well, you mentioned Hal Ashby was part right on this, but Hal Ashby also did improv. So I think some of this dialogue, which he worked with the actors, I think it does have that kind of improv feel.
Sure.
Some of the showdown scenes with Angel and Matt.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't write some of that.
Yeah. really, it works so well. The thing is, it's not a perfect movie, and I wouldn't say it's certainly my favorite Hal Ashby film, but it works so well. It's so damn entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel that, it's a testament to who Hal Ashby was as a director, that even though he had all those production problems, was taken away from him, et cetera, it still works because of Hal Ashby's ability to put a movie together. And I think it's really a fitting film that caps off a really terrific career.
Right. And let's not forget Jeff Bridges, Andy Garcia,
Rosanna Arquette, and Randy Brooks.
Yeah.
Chance.
Four great actors.
Who's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, these guys carry the film.
Absolutely.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Well, that's all the time we have this week.
We'd like to thank our friend Glenn Arnowitz for his music.
And of course, our listeners for tuning in.
So join us next week for another episode of
Film Detour.
If you like our show, please recommend us to your friends. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play, and leave a review.
Go to our website at filmdetourpodcast.com to leave comments or email us with questions. You can also visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.